Okay, so let's confirm the grid then. David Smith should have been on pole, but he's not there, so Paul Rivett starts there alone on the front row. Second row, Stephen Powell and Stuart Oliver. Row 3, John Bowler and Michael Oliver. Fourth row, David Jenkins and Ryan Smith. Fifth row, Simon Cole and Neil Yates. And on row 6, we should be seeing Tom O'Rourke and John Powell, but Tom O'Rourke currently in the pit lane. As we get ready to slip and slide here at Brands Hatch. David Smith is making his way out. He's just coming down the Cooper Straight now. So that's good. David Smith, our pole sitter, has made it out just in time. He missed the grid walk, but he is going to make it onto track. Broken half shaft in the MAN. Just before the start of the race this morning. Now, is he going to be allowed to come through and take his grid position, or is he going to have to start at the back? Thanks again to all the partner sponsors of the British Truck Racing Championship. TRP Parts, Truck and Trailer Parts, Lubricants and Consumables, GT Tyres, Dines Motor Group, Accident Recovery and Repairs, MV Commercial, Total Care Vehicle Lifts, Sylvie Fleet Management and Fuel Cards, BWOC Bulk Fuel Supplier, Transport Monitoring Solutions, Truck and Driver Magazine and Freyhouse Trailers, all partners of the British Truck Racing Championship this year. Interesting comment from This Is Cool Games. This looks more exciting than the NASCAR race in the wet last night. That's not an April Fool. NASCAR actually raced on an oval in the wet on groove tyres for I think the first time ever. Let's see how the trucks get on in these wet conditions. Viewers from Australia and Canada on here as well now. They've all heard it's raining and this is going to be even more fun. Thanks for joining us today on BTRC TV. The hooter sounds in pit lane, so it looks like we're ready to go. That's the signal that the pace truck, the electric pace truck, is about to move off. 30-second board from the marshals on the gantry. Race number 4 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Looks like David Smith has taken position at the back of the grid. Hopefully Tom O'Rourke can start from the pit lane in the number 86, the International Navistar. Here we go then, they roll away. Paul Rivett on the front row, the dominator of Division 2. Ryan Smith going for win number 3 in Division 1 of the weekend. Tom O'Rourke is going to join from the pit lane, that's good. We've got the full complement of trucks out there then. That marshal's braver than me in pit lane, standing in front of Tom O'Rourke's truck there. As he joins the back of the grid, I thought he was going to be stopped from joining and he'd have to start from in the pit lane, but he has been allowed out onto the grid. As the electric pace truck from Lenham's leads them round. Become very wet very quickly. The circuit here at Brands Hatch. Stephen Powell going for win number 2. Bit of bodywork missing from the front bumper of the Pink Panther there of Simon Cole. There is Tom O'Rourke. Just getting to know his new truck this weekend. He's had a couple of moments. Shout out to Pure Track Racing, who are here spectating today. Consider it done, thank you. So how long is it going to take Flying Ryan Smith to come through to the front? Division 2 truck of Paul Rivette leads them round. Stephen Powell will probably get a free run down the inside here to try and take the lead. Or is David Smith, he's making his way through, look. David Smith is going to take pole position, he's weaved his way through the grid. And we are going to have the correct grid order out there. Tom O'Rourke on the back row. So here we go then with race number 4 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. They're going to get an extra lap behind the pace truck because of the changing conditions, I think. Yes, that's allowed David Smith to take pole, so they're going to get an extra green flag lap just to acclimatise to the conditions. It's the first time they've run in the wets this weekend, indeed this season. Ryan Smith weaving to keep those GT tyres warm. This run into Paddock Hill Bend in these conditions is not going to be for the faint of heart, certainly. Let's just hope everyone makes it round on this first lap. You saw Paul Rivette, the Division 2 truck, was rather swallowed up by the Division 1 runners at the start of the race this morning. So my advice to him will be to stay out wide and just let them come through. He knows he's well ahead of his Division 2 rivals. There's John Powell at the back of the field in the DAF. David Smith and Paul Rivette lead them round then. Looks like we are going to go green this time. First electric truck I've ever seen leading this field round. Keeping it steady at the moment, waiting for the pace truck to pull into pit lane. They won't start racing until the red lights go out. David Smith, Paul Rivette, Stephen Powell, Stuart Oliver. Ryan Smith coming through once again from 8th on the grid. Pace truck now into pit lane. This is going to be certainly not for the faint of heart, as we said, as they charge down towards paddock for the first time. Coming up towards the red lights, race 4 of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Lights go out, here we go, and Stephen Powell giving David Smith a bit of a push there as we get underway. Down towards the first corner, Paul Rivette's held his advantage up on the outside there this time as well, was slow away earlier. Decent start from the back by John Powell as well. He's made up about 5 places. He could get ahead of Ryan Smith here. Paul Rivette's got the lead. We've got a Division 2 truck in the lead. Stephen Powell loses half his front bumper as they head up towards Druids. Amazingly, they've all got round paddock bend in one piece. John Powell got an absolute flyer there from the back. He's right up there in the midfield. It's Paul Rivette who leads from David Smith, Stephen Powell, Stuart Oliver having a look down the inside. He clips the back of Stephen Powell. John Bowler is up alongside him. Bowler gets forced out wide onto Cooper Straight, but it's Paul Rivette in the lead. We thought he was going to drop back, but in the wet, this is proving a great leveller, and we've got a Division 2 truck in the lead. David Smith goes wide at Surtees, so does John Bowler. Powell in third, then it's Stuart Oliver. You've seen that bodywork, Stephen Powell, because he clipped the back of David Smith off the line. Michael Oliver now runs out wide. They're all being very careful, very sensible in these conditions. And they're all going to make it round at the first lap in one piece. Rivette, he's clearing off into the lead. Look at this. Side by side for 4th position between John Bowler and Michael Oliver, for 5th place, I should say. Ryan Smith in behind them. Then it's John Powell, who's got an absolute flyer of a first lap. Behind him, David Jenkins, who's got the opposites. He's dropped back. Then O'Rourke, Yates and Cole round out the field. Stephen Powell up the inside. David Smith got out of shape there coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. He loses 2 places. Could be 3 because John Bowler's going to try and go through as well. Stephen Powell up into 2nd place. 3rd, it is Stuart Oliver. David Smith will try and hold the inside line, but John Bowler just powers ahead of him. Down the hill into Graham Hill bend. Ryan Smith trying to go around the outside as well. It is really wet here. Ryan Smith sideways on the curb. He tries to get past John Powell and Michael Oliver. Look at the spray they're throwing up. They can hardly see where they're going. And Ryan Smith is boxed in there behind his namesake. He's on the grass, so's Michael Oliver. Off goes Ryan Smith. In fact, is he pulling up there? Or can he just not get any grip on the grass? Has he got a problem there, Ryan Smith? Yeah, he's coming to a halt. Or is he? He might just not be able to get any grip on the grass to keep going. Is that Ryan Smith's race over? He always seems to have problems, Ryan Smith, in the 4th race of every weekend for some reason. Yeah, he just can't get up the incline there. Look, it's just too slippery for him. Which way now, Ryan? So your leader is Paul Rivett from Stephen Powell. Then it's Oliver, Bowler. Michael Oliver is 5th. David Jenkins coming through into 6th place after a bit of a slow start. He's got ahead of John Powell and David Smith. Well, Ryan Smith could well be out of the race if he can't get off the grass there. Whether that's just because he's beached there or because he's had a problem. He did seem to slow coming out of this. He's still trying to back off the grass. Where is he going? I've no idea even where Ryan Smith's going to rejoin at this point. Here come the leaders. Well, where's Ryan got to? There he is, facing the wrong way on the inside of Clearways. That is bizarre. He's had to reverse all the way across the grass because he can't get any forward motion. Unless he can only get reverse gear, of course. So it's Rivett from Stephen Powell. 3 laps completed, just under 2 seconds in it. Could we see a Division 2 truck win overall? It's certainly a possibility with the way Paul Rivett's going in the MAN. MAN's 1 and 2, the Volvo with Stuart Oliver in 3rd place. And Ryan Smith, he's got the truck off the grass, he's got the Daimler running again, but he's at least a lap behind. When was the last time we saw Ryan Smith a lap down? Tom O'Rourke has pulled into the pits, looks like he's out of it. His problems just before the start have returned. John Powell's running well in 7th position overall now. Paul Rivett is slowly being reeled in, I think, by Stephen Powell. Stuart Oliver closing on the MAN, then in 4th place it's John Bowler. Michael Oliver 5th, David Jenkins in 6th. Paul Rivett, you can see him fighting to stop the back end of the truck coming round on him almost there through Clearways. That's how slippery it is out there. There's Tom O'Rourke in the pit lane. The lead gap now is 1.4 seconds. New fastest lap of the race for Stephen Powell in 2nd with a 1:09.682. So they're lapping about 10 seconds slower than they were earlier on. Don't get out onto those painted curbs, Paul Rivett. That'll send you spinning. We've seen touring cars do that there many times. Remember in the early 2000s, Matt Jackson got the back wheel of his BMW onto that curb and went spinning and caused a pile-up in the BTCC involving about 3/4 of the field. Stuart Oliver still chasing on in 3rd, the 10 times champion. John Bowler going well in 4th, the rain proving a great leveller here. Now, Ryan Smith is still going, but a lap behind. Always seems to be the 4th race of the weekend where he hits some kind of misfortune. Here's Simon Cole chasing down Neil Yates. This is the battle for 9th position. Simon Cole 3rd in Division 2 in the Pink Panther. Neil Yates, his first full season. Oh, and Stephen Powell and Stuart Oliver both run wide onto the dirt coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, still allowing John Bowler a chance to attack for a podium. I don't know if there was any contact just before there, if they just slid out wide. It's very easy to do there, whatever you're driving. Look at the standing water coming down into Graham Hill Bend. John Bowler's found it, he runs wide. This is just treacherous. While all that's going on, Paul Rivette's been able to pull away. This will be for the first time since the classes went back to combined races a few years ago that Paul Rivette, that's a Division 2 truck in the shape of Paul Rivette, has taken an overall win if Paul Rivette can stay in front. Stephen Powell will want to try and go after him here. Over the line they go. The gap was just under 2 seconds. It's now just over 4 seconds. Shows how much Stephen Powell and Stuart Oliver were delayed there. Here's what happened. They ran out, yeah, they just both ran out wide independently of each other. Lost about 3 seconds there. And Michael Oliver went wide as well. Shows you how treacherous it is at Paddock Hill Bend. Let's hope nobody... And David Smith going wide over the gravel as well. They need to keep off those curbs on the outside. Look at the way John Powell is going in the number 6. He's catching David Jenkins for 7th place. The 6th place, I should say. In fact, on the previous lap, he briefly got ahead of the MAN. Neil Yates has pulled into the pits, I can tell you. So another truck in trouble. Still got just over 6.5 minutes of this race to go, so we're just past halfway. John Bowler's had a problem somewhere as well, because he's dropped back behind David Jenkins as well. Try and fight his way back. This is a repeat of race 3 earlier on. These two were fighting it out. As through into 2nd place goes Stuart Oliver. I wonder if Stephen Powell ran wide again there coming through paddock, because he seems slow up the hill. And Stuart Oliver goes through into P2. Where's Paul Rivette? He's off in the distance. Stephen Powell looking rather second-hand, lost the front bodywork on the opening lap. Oh, who's that going straight on in the background? Going into the tyre wall, wallop straight in. That's John Bowler. He's gone straight on at Graham Hill Bend. Now, we might see a full course yellow for that, unless John Bowler can extricate his truck from the tyre wall. But how damaged is the tyre barrier? Try and look at that again. No, this is a replay of Stuart Oliver. Meanwhile, he goes over the grass at Surtees. It holds that 2nd place. Well, it's hard to know where to look. There's plenty of incident. John Bowler is in the tyre wall at Graham Hill Bend. That's Oliver again, going off on the run up Paddock Hill Bend. Stephen Powell says, thanks very much, I'll take 2nd place back. Michael Oliver could get past his father for 3rd here. They're having trouble just keeping these trucks on the road now. There's David Jenkins in 5th, John Powell in 6th. 6th overall will be his best result for some time. And there's another one going off. Oh my goodness, that's Michael Oliver, and he almost goes straight into the back of John Bowler. They've got to stop this. It is getting too dangerous down there. That's 2 trucks gone off and one has hit the other. Yeah, red flag is coming out. No surprise there. Michael Oliver straight on at Graham Hill Bend, and he collected the truck of John Bowler, I think. Let's hope both those drivers are okay. Amazingly, Michael Oliver's driving off. But the race has been stopped. That will surely be result declared. It is too dangerous out there. I thought for a second we were seeing a replay of John Bowler going off there. Then I realised that it was another truck going in. Poor old Michael Oliver. Every time he races at Brands Hatch, he seems to get into some sort of accident. And he was very lucky not to blitz full bore into the back of John Bowler there. That was a very nasty one. What's been going on at Paddock Hill meantime? Stephen Powell's turn to run wide. So I don't know who's going to be classified 2nd. The race will surely be declared. But this was the incident with John Bowler. He was trying to stay ahead of David Jenkins. Got wide onto the grass. No grip there. Straight on. Straight in. That is a scary incident. And we'll see what happened to Michael Oliver. Yeah, exactly the same. No grip there, straight ahead. Look out. And collects the back of John Bowler. He was lucky not to T-bone that truck. That was a very scary incident indeed. Just clipping the back of it there, thankfully. He just had no control there at all. Thankfully, looks like both drivers are okay. Mike Oliver was able to drive away. But when you see that back in replay there with Michael Oliver going straight on and straight towards another stranded truck, that was a frightening incident there. Thankfully, everyone's okay. So we await trackside recovery to appear then. We're just awaiting news, I suspect, as we were past 2/3 distance in that race, I suspect the result is going to be declared. There were 4.5 minutes left. And if so, for the first time since combined races were brought back into the championship, we have a Division 2 overall winner, provisionally. Paul Rivett, subject to confirmation, has won it. Okay, I think we can hand down to Pointy down at trackside to give us an update.
Well, the conditions have well and truly changed. I did say it was starting to rain when we left that grid walk earlier on, and as you can see, the race conditions deteriorated very, very quickly. The scrutineers and, of course, the clerk of the course have called a red flag. We've got a lot of steam coming out the front of Neil Yates over here, but of course, behind that we can see the triumphant Paul Rivett starting in first place and essentially finishing in first place. We'll have to see the final order that comes down on TSL once we've decided what's going on. Team Napa very, very happy with the result. I'm not 100% sure whether we're allowed to speak to the drivers or not, but better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Paul, you must have seen some first overall, incredible performance.
Well, the wet is always a great leveller.
I mean, I can't believe how many incidents we had behind you during that race. Ryan Smith we lost halfway through as well, went off on the grass. Michael Oliver, John Bowler, even Stuart almost hit Michael at one point. It was action-packed.
It was so slippery out there, and it was getting more and more slippery towards the end, so good call from race control there. But this Napa Racing UK truck, she was flying, wasn't she? I might not have the power of the Division 1 boys, but when it's wet like that, all that power, you've got to be able to put it down still.
You certainly have, and there was serious consistency there as well. We could see with your times, we could see with your line. You weren't going anywhere, were you?
No, and that was everything I had. I was pushing the whole race, knowing that if they caught me, they'd be coming through, and I just needed to keep that gap. I'm guessing there was plenty of fighting going along behind to help me out. We're always going to need a bit of luck, and one of my goals this year, a silent goal, because I didn't want to say it, was to try and put it on the podium overall. Didn't expect we'd be winning a race in the first weekend.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, incredible one. It's just a shame you're not in Division 1, isn't it? You got a big trophy then.
Well, hang on, surely I should get that one.
Yeah, maybe we should. We'll speak. I'll have a word. 2 bottles of champagne from the same race. I don't know. Right then, Paul Rivett, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we are hurrying things along now because they have got some recovery work to do with John Bowler out on the track. Such a shame for John. Real disappointment that happened, but as you can see by the rest of the trucks out on the circuit for that race, it really could have been anyone that found that wrong wet patch and ended up on the grass. I mean, I hope he's okay. I hope the truck's okay. With one race left to do this afternoon, John, you need to come this way. Trucks literally everywhere. Pandemonium would be a word I'd use. Anyway, let's head back to the studio now for a few cheeky replays of the absolute carnage that was race 4 of the weekend here at Brands Hatch.
Yes, let's have a look back at that rather chaotic truck race where we knew it was going to be chaos. Truck racing in the wet always is, and Ryan Smith, an early casualty, but just went straight on there. He didn't seem to be fighting for control or anything, as if he just, I thought he was pulling up with a problem. then lost a lap and got going again. See it again here. Back end just breaks away slightly and he suddenly goes straight on and then just couldn't get the truck off the grass. He had to back down again because it's uphill up to Clearways there. No grip at all on the grass and he just had to slide back until he was on the tarmac. Paul Rivette nearly lost it at one point going sideways coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. And then Stephen Powell and Stuart Oliver seem to be having a competition to see who can run wide there the most times. Michael Oliver joined in as well, and subsequently David Smith a little bit further back. It was getting impossible through the first section of the lap. John Powell had a strong race. John Bowler, that was his first off, which is what dropped him back down a few spots behind David Jenkins. David Smith did a bit of ploughing. Or at least he managed to get out there, only just got out in time for that race to take his pole position. Stephen Powell then ran wide again, allowing Stuart Oliver through for second place. Incidentally, still no official confirmation of a result of this race. And then John Bowler, having already run wide at Graham Hill Bend once, lost it, went straight on and walloped straight into the tyre barrier. Stuart Oliver then ran wide again over the gravel, allowing Stephen Powell to go through on that difficult run out of paddock. And then things really got scary. A soaking wet downhill run through Graham Hill. Michael Oliver lost it straight on and collected the stationary truck of John Bowler. Thankfully, everyone was okay. And now they've got to clear the wreckage and repair the barrier. As we say, no results given officially as yet. The timing screen still showing just red flag. But we will get the result through from the timekeepers as soon as we can. The telehandler is going to try and pluck John Bowler out of the tyre barrier there. So Paul Rivette provisionally the winner ahead of Stuart Oliver and Stephen Powell, then Michael Oliver, David Jenkins, John Powell in good 6th place. It's David Smith, Simon Cole, John Bowler obviously won't be classified. Michael Oliver, we don't know whether the result will be counted back. Ryan Smith 2 laps down after that incident early on, and we lost Neil Yates and Tom O'Rourke into the pits, but no result confirmed as yet. That is all provisional. Main thing is the drivers are all right, the marshals are okay, and now the clear-up operation will begin.